automatically think of Carolina Crown, you think of power. Powerful music, powerful ideas, concepts. You know, the oracle at the beginning that starts with the red, you know, that is, fate is always lurking around us. And whether good or bad, fate is always there. He's the omnipresent, you know, spiritual guide for the way fate unfolds.
Immortal gods being the horn line and fate being the color guard. Just the challenge of it, instead of just having one stylistic quality across the entire board, having those two dynamic ranges throughout the show was a fun challenge, and how that intertwined together.
Point of No Return 2 is a great opera. Not everybody likes opera. It's an acquired taste. And so we have the audience everything. If you want classic drill, if you want modern staging, if you want contemporary thoughts on all of those things, we give a gamut and buffet of concepts and ideas. Props. You know, I wanted something original and creative and unique. They're like the fate energy portal centers, you know, and so that's why they ride in on them. They're gurgling on them, so to speak, and then they come to life facing outside when the Tortina piece comes in, and in the pre-show when you do Carmina Burana and music for Prague, and all the things that I loved about Carmina was not what you would think the O Fortuna it is. So that's more the personality of the middle section of the show, and that's called Fate Desires, and that's the thing that separates us is the characterization, especially the color guard. That's an added dimension and element. That they not only have to catch their equipment, but the meaning of the music is deeper. It's more raw, and so they also have to portray that character, as well as the immortal gods and the brass and percussion.
Every single part has something that's so unique and so distinct, and something that I haven't seen in drum corps this season is that we're presenting something that's stylistically different every single time. They're always on the move, they never stop, and that's something that's pretty awesome to have to put to the membership. They're so talented, you know, and they bring so much skill to the field. They're able to sustain that.
50 years from now or 100 years from now, what will people be listening to that was written today? You know, we're playing Orff, we're playing Mahler, we're playing Debussy, we're playing things that are classics that have withstood the test of time and provide an epic palette to what we want to do. So for me, that's been one of the funnest parts about it.
Yeah, I think the source material had so much stuff to take from it that we could use percussively. You know, I think there's a moment in the second movement that's actually a tenor feature. There was a clarinet part, I think, in the original sketch you sent. So taking that kind of music and trying to add ornamentation or be creative with that kind of in a percussive setting has been a lot of fun to put together. Because again, the source material is so strong and so deep, it has so much depth to it.
You know, doing the lesser known movements of Carmina Burana was a lot of fun. They're things that I knew because I know that piece and I love the music, but I think the general public, you know, they're used to hearing O Fortuna in movies, and they're used to hearing it every Saturday afternoon in college football because every college marching band plays it. But to do the lesser known movements was a lot of fun, but my personal favorite is the Mahler, the Adagietto. It's something I've always wanted to do. So when Wes threw that out there, I was like, yes, you know, you can't do it in a minute and a half. It's just impossible. It's such a long, slow, emotional burn that you have to give a certain amount of weight to it. You know, we started out with a version that was 3 minutes and 40 seconds long. We got it kind of down to 250. I told everybody it was 250, but it was really 310. And it's a piece that the performers have to be in love with every single note that they play and every single count that they move. And if you can convey that, you know, from the softest, most gentle, unamplified thing in drum corps to the large epic ending that we chose to do with it, I get goosebumps talking about it.
I want to piggyback on that. I think I love 3, our third movement, because the variety in 3 almost feels like a drum corps show inside of itself.
Yeah.
There's so much variety. There's a maestoso, there's the trumpet double tugging stuff in the beginning. We end up a long accelerando that lasts almost a minute and a half. We end at 192 for the last 30 seconds. There's just so much material in 3 and just the variety of that. Yeah, I just love that movement. That turned out really well. And the percussion stuff, I think, you know, we try to be really smart about using, you know, material and picking vocabulary that kind of matches the material of the music. So it's kind of this 5-note motif that we use, Music of Prague. It's tripletized in that. So the first statement you hear for the percussion is kind of a 5-note motif, but it's duple. And it kind of, we use that, we toss that rhythm around kind of throughout the battery choir. It comes down, we add ornamentation to that, and try to be smart about just writing ornamentation, not taking vocabulary that's just vocabulary and trying to shoehorn it into a show, but trying to kind of pick vocabulary that fits inside the theme of the show or the source material. So we kind of take that 5-note motif, it kind of develops throughout, and then we kind of go to the triplet version right before the brass come in, for their opening statements. So that kind of moment, I was really happy with how that turned out.
You know, it's something that I really think that's cool in the show is it's always evolving. It's never been cut and dry, like here's your dots, here's your music, here's your choreography at spring training, and it's done. It's still evolving. I can't wait for the next 3.5 weeks to go and see really where the story keeps going and how the students evolve with it, and us as a design team do that.
And the right time to ask Wes what the show is about will be the day of finals. That's the right time.
Because we are definitely marinating and still evolving and doing all the things, because you know the kids are just as much a part of this design process as we are, because we're gonna see things that they're doing and their perspective and their soul comes to life and how their interpretation of what we're doing. And that's the really cool part, besides all the stuff that we can come up with. But really the kids clearly are the ones that take it over the top.
This has been one of my most enjoyable years. It starts with the people that are here and all the people that are not here that have worked and designed all winter and have been part of that. It's been the camps and the kids coming to the camps and all the staffs. It's been positive and supportive. Everybody's gotten in the boat and rowed the same way. And it's made it unique to me in that regard. So it's been extraordinarily fun. And yeah, I can't wait to see what happens the next 3 weeks. I also know I'm going to be very sad to see it end too.